I want my husband back.
This is my father. He's also my hero.
I don't know if he's alive or not now.
My father has been detained.
Uyghurs in the US are searching for missing family members they say are detained in Chinese internment camps.
They are innocent. They didn't do anything wrong. Just because of Uyghur ethnics, people need to speak up, let the world know what's happening.
Former prisoners are testifying on what the international community is calling a genocide against Uyghurs in Xinjiang.
Hazır mende balyat koy yok. Eğer tesir kılgınım şu meni tugmaslık kıvatkini.
China is hosting the 2022 Winter Olympics, and this year it's about much more than sports. The International Olympic Committee is ignoring China's alleged crimes against Uyghurs, continuing the committee's history of overlooking human rights concerns.
It puts athletes in a really unfair position. The idea that an athlete has a choice of whether to go to the Olympics is just completely false.
So will the Winter Olympics in Beijing distract the world from China's oppression of Uyghurs?
There's ongoing genocide and there's millions of people suffering in this moment when you watch this Olympics in China.
Tugmaslık operasiyası kıldırdı degan mao Amerikadaki doktorxonaning isboti.
Zumra Dawood is a camp survivor who says she was forcibly sterilized by the Chinese government. She says she was punished for having more than 2 children.
Rol oynaydı ekanimdi. Bunu evetkendikin onu da sırtmışda ayollarni tug'mas qilyapti. Biz qanday ko'paymiz, qanday jiqiymiz. Biz qurib ketish, nasli qurib ketish girdabiga berib qoldik biz hozir. Men sukut tutsam, yana birisi sukut tutsa, hammamiz o'ngishilib qolsak, bu o'ngisholmaydi.
Zumra shared her story with the UN and media outlets after escaping to the US in 2019. She believes her father was killed as a result, and she has lost contact with her brothers in China. Chinese state media denies and refutes testimonies given by Uyghurs. In this video, Zumrat's brothers reject her story.
We found Zumra's brothers in Gurumachi, and they denied her claims.
There are millions of Uyghurs arbitrarily detained in what the UN calls internment camps. In these camps, Uyghurs are stripped of their ethnic identity and exploited for forced labor. Around 1/5 of the world's cotton comes from Xinjiang. Northern Virginia has one of the largest Uyghur communities in the US. A handful have gathered to share their stories.
I don't have any contact with my parents.
I want to eat at the same table with him.
Mesela uyda bir huzurlanıp tabak yesek mi? Qarindishimiz ko'z oldimizga keladi.
Shunga har bir Uyg'ur uchun ega chiqishimiz kerak. Mening deydim. Mush yo'qolib ketgan mesela mush tuqqanlarimiz, qarindoshlarimizga xalqaraning izdirigini qilib biz.
The simple questions like where is my family? We can't ask that, most of us, because we are afraid of Chinese government's long hand. So what I'm asking you is, let's not stop. We will fight until we get our relatives back.
The Uyghurs are a mostly Muslim minority group with their own culture and language. The Xinjiang region where they're from is recognized as autonomous, but has lately come under increasing government control. Today, Uyghurs are under constant surveillance by Chinese authorities. There's even satellite evidence of China replacing Uyghur graves with parking lots and playgrounds. China says the camps are re-education centers and produced these videos to support its claims. There have been separatist uprisings in Xinjiang for decades, which the Chinese government uses to justify its crackdown on the minority group.
My name is Kalban Nurghani. I lost contact with my sister 2 years ago. Later, I found that she detained to Chinese concentration camp April 2019.
Kalban Nurghani is getting harassed for speaking out about her sister, who she says has been sentenced to prison for 17 years. The crime, allegedly praying at her father's funeral and possessing a Quran.
When our father passed away, I was there too. And there wasn't any law in Chinese law says that you cannot pray in the funeral. We never thought that in this modern society can happen like these things. Just being different ethnics, you can target it for the detention.
Kalbaner says she is severely traumatized from WeChat messages threatening her not to speak out. Last year, she says the police sent her a 1-minute voice note from her sister in prison.
Yeah, roughly what she says that I Hi, sister. Wherever you live, don't forget you're a Chinese citizen. Don't do anything against the Chinese government. Now it's like almost 4 years. I just want her to stay strong and believe herself. She didn't do anything wrong.
By sharing their stories with the world, Uyghurs are well aware they may further endanger their family members in China.
你担心他们的安全吗? Albatta. Shuning uchun men hammaga tavakkul qildim. Men so'zlamasam, endi mening millatim tugishidi, tugaydi bunda. Uyg'ur degan millat qolmaydi.
As her sister, what I can do I need to keep speaking up until she's free. And I am not politicians. I don't have such a power to stop Chinese government today. But I have this voice, I can speak up.
So how is the International Olympic Committee responding to claims of ongoing persecution of Uyghurs in this host country? The IOC has remained silent when it comes to standing up for human rights. Some brand sponsors have even lobbied against a bill that would ban goods made with forced labor in Xinjiang. The IOC claims none of the Olympic branded gear supplied in China is linked to Uyghur forced labor, but Human Rights Watch says that report is far from credible.
I think it is charitable to describe that IOC assessment as pathetic in a country where there is one legal trade union that has not signed on to some of the most basic labor rights provisions and denies auditors the access they would need to prove there is not forced labor. It is woefully inadequate.
Retired two-time Olympian Noah Hoffman says athletes are forced to choose their career over their values.
We're advising athletes not to speak up about political issues. That kills me to advise athletes to stay silent, because I think that athletes have an incredible platform to be really powerful leaders in society.
Why do you think it's so hard for athletes to speak out?
Our entire careers are based around the Olympics. And if we want to have viable careers, if we want to find sponsors to fund our careers, we have to go to the Olympics. We have no choice in the matter. We, as athletes, are being used as pawns in this geopolitical fight.
Hoffman fears speaking out may jeopardize an athlete's career. The Beijing Organizing Committee has also warned athletes they could be punished for speaking out.
Athletes are really at the mercy of administrators in a lot of ways. As we saw with Peng Shuai, the consequences can be really dire and really scary.
Tennis player Peng Shuai disappeared after making sexual assault allegations against a top Chinese official who denies the claims. The IOC held a video call with her, but questions about her safety remain. While athletes must weigh the risks of speaking up on political issues, some billionaires dismiss the issue on Uyghurs without fearing consequences.
Let's be honest, nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs, okay? Of all the things that I care about, yes, it is below my line.
Uyghur schools don't exist in China, as children are taught Mandarin and loyalty to the Communist Party. Meanwhile, members of the Uyghur community in Virginia are undeterred from passing their heritage on to a new generation. Every Sunday, children gather for a full day of Uyghur language, religion, and dance classes.
Balalarımni bir erkin dövletke çıkmağınımdan, erkin nefes aldıralğanlığımdan men şunçalik hoşal. Bulupmu xalqımni qutuldirish uchun qilib qolgan ashu vatandagi Uyg'urlarni butun har qandig'ining eng oxirgi ashu umidi biz hamda mush chet eldagilar.
When I see her photos at home, sometimes I just don't dare to look at her face because I feel like I'm not doing enough. I will do whatever it takes.